we see the world as a pile of stuff we can use. And the concept is grab as much of it as you can, make it suit you. It's all about you, self-centered. It's all about me. How can I be comfortable? Can I be powerful? Can I be whatever? And everybody is scrambling to optimize themselves with whatever they can grab out of the natural environment and however they can process that into something that's valuable. And that's our problem. We have that ethic of use and abuse, and it doesn't matter a whole lot what you do to the next person. If you have to walk over them to get to where you're going, well, that's their problem. Survival of the fittest. The fit rise to the top and the others get walked over. It's just the nature of life. That's an attitude. It's an ethic. And that ethic goes with materialism. There is no point or purpose. So if the my big toe cosmology were to be accepted, the ethic would change from that kind of self-centered grabbing ethic to an ethic of how can I help? What can I do? Kindness, caring. That's what we need.
Well, a lot of people don't even understand that it feels good for you because they're trapped in this idea of materialism and selfishness.
Yes.
They don't know that there's actually a selfishness in being kind.
Oh, absolutely.
You benefit from it.
Oh, you benefit greatly.
Yeah, you do.
The people who are kind and generous and helpful, those people mostly are happy.
Yeah.
Those people smile a lot.
Yeah.
They joke a lot.
Yeah.
They laugh.
Yeah.
They live a really good life. And it doesn't matter whether they're dirt poor or rich. If
Right.
they have those attitudes, they're happy.
Right.
They can accept what comes and deal with it in a positive way. And everybody likes them because it's fun to be around people like that. So they're happy people. Now take the opposite people, the people who are fear-based. They're self-centered. They're focused on themselves. They try to manipulate everybody else to be the way they want them to be because, of course, they know that if everybody was like they wanted them to be, everything would just work out fine. They feel that if I was the master of the universe, problems would all be solved.
Right.
Just the opposite is true. If they were the master of the universe, everything would be worse.
Yeah.
But you learn that trying to manipulate things to be the way you want them, trying to make sure your children go up and be doctors and lawyers and Indian chiefs, or make sure that your spouse doesn't throw their underwear on the floor and you have to pick it up. You've got all these things in the world that you don't like, and you try to manipulate it all to be like you want. And that just makes you crazy. And it makes people not like you because you're manipulative.
Yeah.
And even if in your own mind you're just doing it because that's the best thing for them,
Right.
But everybody feels that way. Everybody that's fighting with everybody feels like they know, and the other person needs to change to the way they like it.
It's a great way to build resentment in your children.
Yes.
Fortunately, I remembered that when I was a child. So with my kids, I don't push them to do anything they don't want to do. I encourage them to do things that they enjoy. But we have a lot of conversations about being nice.
Yes.
The fundamental goodness of people, to embrace that.
Yes.
And it makes your life better.
It does. And it makes their life better.
Yeah, it makes you happier.
Instead of being the boss, the dictator daddy who tells you how to do it, when to do it.
I try to just lead by example.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They get to do it themselves. And they get to make mistakes and find problems. Then they learn from them.
Yeah.
But if you're always hovering over them so they never make a mistake, well, they don't learn much either.
Right.
It's
also, if you're always hovering over them and telling them what to do, they have a hard time talking to you about the things that didn't go well.
Exactly.
If you are one of the things that I've always done with my kids, whenever they do something wrong, I say I've done the exact same thing. I did all the things you've done and all the things you're going to do wrong,
and probably some more.
And
besides,
probably some more. Yeah, it's like, don't worry. Yeah. It's a part of being a person. You're not a bad person.
Exactly.
You just made a mistake, and it's part of being a human being.
See, that's perfect. The way life works should be, instead of people spending all their time trying to manipulate the world and the people to be the way they want it, well, the way they know is best. Instead of doing that, if you just accept that people are the way they are, deal with them as they are, deal with them positively, and now what's important isn't what happens. What's important is how you deal with it, the choices you make. And if your choices are all made with love, with kindness, and caring, then you'll do well. Now, some people get hung up on that. They say, well, I don't know what low entropy choices are, so I can't act because I don't know that my action's going to be the right one. But that's wrong. You learn from trying and seeing what happens. So if you've got some issue and you don't know what to do, think about it. Due diligence. Try to think 2 or 3, 4 moves behind. If you do this, that's going to affect that person who will affect that person who will affect... You have to look at the big picture. Come to a conclusion of what you think the best choice is, and just do it. It's not that important if it's right or wrong. Just do it and learn from it. Look back at it. If it works out really, really well, pat yourself on the back and say, that was a good choice. If it blows to hell,
and that will beget more good choices.
Yeah, and people would, you get dysfunction and stuff from it, and you say, God, I didn't see that happening. Well, ask your question. Why didn't you see that happening? Where was the blinder on that caused you not to see that happening? Fix that problem, and then go on. Now you've just learned something. That's lowering your entropy, and you're moving on. So life isn't like, how do you get through it without making a mistake? Life is, do your due diligence, make your choices, learn from them. The only way you can fail this game is to refuse to learn from them. That's the failure. As long as you can learn from it, every time you make choices and you learn from them, you're better. And you just keep getting better, and you're evolving.
Right.
You're lowering the entropy of your consciousness, and you're growing up.
And there's a difference between a person who's making good life choices versus a person who consistently makes bad life choices. Their life spirals downward.
Exactly.
They don't keep getting better. They're not better at interactions. They're not better at communicating. They're not better at forming friendships and experiencing love and happiness. It's worse.
It's absolutely worse. And the one thing they're good at, though, is blaming other people for their distress.
Yes.
As they're spiraling down it, it's your fault, it's your fault, no, woe is me. I'm not, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all, to take a line out of a blues song.
Yes.
Yes. And that state of being the victim is the absolutely zero state. That's like when you see yourself as a victim and all these other people are taking advantage of you, you're about at the bottom of the pit. It's hard to get much lower than that, much higher entropy than that. So